am Zoe Deschanel, and we are exploring your food's roots.
The bread you're buying isn't actually real bread. If you've ever had fresh baked whole grain bread,
You've probably noticed how different it tastes compared to a slice of white bread from the supermarket. One tastes like wheat and the other one tastes like sugar. So what are we doing to our bread?
white bread isn't really bread, at least compared to the bread humans used to eat. That's right, white bread would be unrecognizable to your ancestors if you traveled back in time to show them. How is that possible? I wanted to learn more, so I went to a farm that cultivates grain, which is the key ingredient to bread. The bread products we love start in a field of wild grains, like this one.
So what kind of things can you make from this, wild rye here?
You name it. 65% of the food we eat is from grains.
Yeah.
So let's say we can make
Delicious rye bread.
delicious rye bread
Which we both love. Yeah.
Yes, our favorite.
Yeah.
Whiskey.
It's not my thing, but a lot of people love it.
Love that. Pasta. Beer.
Great.
The way a bread maker processes the grain has a huge impact, not only on how it tastes, but how good it is for you. The traditional way of making bread uses every part of the grain, hence whole grain bread. White bread, on the other hand, is made by an industrial process that strips down wheat into all-purpose flour, and in some cases includes chemical additives. So I talked to Clémence Gosset, a baker who makes bread the old-fashioned way, to understand the problem with all-purpose flour.
Dump it right here and we're going to touch it and feel the difference between the two. So out here you have the bran and right here you have the starch. When you buy all-purpose flour in the store, you're only buying the starch. So it's sort of like only ever drinking frozen concentrated apple juice and never picking an apple off a tree and biting into it.
Wheat is more complex than you might think. It's made up of 3 parts, the bran, the germ, and the starchy endosperm. While whole grain bread uses all 3 parts, white bread uses just the endosperm, which your body turns into pure sugar. Clémence explains.
If you only ever ate the sugar, your blood sugar would spike. But if you ate the sugar with fiber, the fiber that's in the bran allows you to slowly digest the sugars. Whole grain flour is 100% the wheat berry, just milled and packaged up.
As it comes out.
As it comes out.
So let's make some bread.
You want to?
Yes.
All right, so the magic of bread and the beauty of bread is that it's biblical. Like, it only needs 3 ingredients, and that's water, flour, and salt. So the first step that we do is to take some water and sort of swirl our sourdough starter in it. There you go. It's a really good way to get anger and frustration out. Or if you have a 2-year-old who needs something to do.
I do have a 2-year-old who needs something to do.
And then we take out our dough and we shape it. You just got to tell it what to do. It smells your fear, so you just got to.
It's like a horse.
Like a horse. And then you pick up your dough. And
It's almost like you're really good at this.
You got it.
It's almost like you do this all the time.
Like I teach people how to
almost
make
like you
bread.
teach.
So if bread made from all-purpose flour doesn't taste as good and is less healthy than whole grain, why don't we just go back to whole grain?
Whole grains maybe don't keep as long because you have the germ in there and the bran. All-purpose flour will last 5 years, or it has shelf life.
Stripping bread of its nutrients and injecting chemical additives makes it easier for food producers to make a high volume of bread, ship it over long distances, and get it onto store shelves long enough for you to buy it. It's just a much better business model.
That's been a really interesting thing to learn. It's not in your store because it doesn't,
Right, doesn't have
truck well.
Doesn't truck well, doesn't pack well, or it doesn't have the shelf life.
If you're converting it into something just because of shelf life, we have to question whether that's actually a worthwhile thing, because is it actually food?
Right.
I guess it makes sense because the food system has been kind of geared toward bottom line and money, and not for taste, health, or the environment.
We have to value our food differently, not quantity but the flavor, the health benefits, and what it's doing to our earth and our bodies.
Advances in technology have given us more bread options than ever before, and while this feeds more people at lower costs, it does have some drawbacks. Some of the loaves you buy in stores are missing ingredients that make bread, and others are pumped full of chemicals that help them last on the shelves, but aren't so great for your body. If we buy our bread from bread makers who get their grains from local farmers like Alex, We not only support people who care about nutrition, taste, and the environment, we can also make it easier for more local farmers to prosper, which will preserve the reason why humans started baking bread in the first place.
We made a couple loaves of bread yesterday with Alex's wheat. So this one has rye and it has squash that we roasted and added to the bread dough. So this one should have an awesome color inside.
Oh,
yep.
Beautiful.
There you go.
Oh my God.
It's legit.
This is legit.
Cheers.
This is amazing. It's so good. Share this video if you think it's time to embrace whole grains.